This is Dr. Gary Kellner, and I would like to welcome you to Fair Game. A number of years ago, evangelical writer Jim Wallis, who has been noted as a voice for social justice, wrote a book in the aftermath of the 2004 electoral debacle for the Democrats. The book was entitled, "Why the Right is Wrong and the Left Doesn't Get It." The heart of his argument was, as you would expect, a critique of President Bush and his approach to things. No surprise there. But he had another argument that I think was important at the time, and it was that the Democratic Party did not understand that many people in America, whether they consider themselves conservative or liberal, independent, Republicans or Democrats, vote their values, not their pocketbooks. Many times, folks in the Democratic Party expect that certain demographics are going to support them simply on economic issues. You can't point to many elections in the last 25 years where that has been true. What's fascinating to me is that after more than 20 years and 5 presidential cycles, the Democrats continue to make the same mistakes year after year after year. So I would like to suggest that a modification in Wallace's book title is long overdue. He said he wanted to talk about why the right was wrong and the left didn't get it. I would like to characterize the left as rebels without a clue. There is an essential problem in the Democratic Party today. It is anchored in the fact that that party is shackled to identity politics as a way of being. So they identify aggrieved groups, and those folks drive the agenda. Now, those folks do represent a significant slice of Democratic Party voters. I get it. Those primary voters are more loyal, more motivated than general election voters. You have to treat with their concerns. There's a difference in recognizing people's concerns and pandering to their issues. The Democratic Party lost a significant number of African American men in the 2024 election. They lost a significant number of Latinos in that election. Groups of people who have every reason to vote Democrat, but are significantly more conservative culturally than the East Coast elites that run the Democratic Party. So we are now in the second year of President Trump's second term. He is underwater in the public opinion polls. Barely a third of the American people approve of his performance at this particular moment of time, which you would think, off your elections, that should be good for the Democrats. Except even more people disapprove of the Democrats in Congress. The Democrats in Congress have an approval rating of 25%. What's the problem? Well, it's pretty simple. They do not cast a compelling vision. They're going to go one more time around the floor with gay marriage and pro-choice, and with whatever their primary voters are hot on today. That argues for a rethinking of the role of the Democratic Party. Without trying to wade into President Trump's particular policies, let's just say it this way. Most of the American people don't agree with how he's handling the war. They don't agree with the way he's handling the economy. They believe he has the country moving in the wrong direction. And what do the Democrats offer? Nothing. They just inveigh against Donald J. Trump. Well, here is a note to self. He won't be running again. He won't be running again in 2026 in the midterms. He won't be running in 2028, which means the Democrats have a rather narrow window of opportunity to define themselves and to define the future that they envision for the nation. Barack Obama famously said that hope is not a strategy. Well, let me tell you something else. Neither is negativity. The notorious Roger Stone has often said, elections are about the future and not the past. And there in that one sentence is one reason why Roger Stone has been so spectacularly successful in his highly controversial career. The Democrats keep talking about the past, and they keep talking about identity politics. They have to get on board with what's going on at the kitchen table. They have to get on board with the things that people really care about. Here's one they care about. Their kids graduate from high school, and that diploma means almost nothing. It's really a certificate of attendance. It doesn't indicate that they are ready to move into the workforce. When I was a young person, which is back when the Dead Sea was only sick, about 55% of American young people graduated from high school. 45% dropped out and went into the workforce. At that time, roughly a third of the kids who graduated went on to college. Within my young adulthood, it became assumed that the best path forward for a successful life was a college degree. Now, we are at a place where there's no guarantee of that. Whether kids go to a technical school, to a community college, or to a university, they come out of their post-high school experience almost ready to do nothing except go to school more. And so a lot of the American people look at the educational establishment and they think that it is largely serving itself. Now, it's not my place to try to solve that issue within the frame of the few minutes that we have together. But here's a huge issue. It has to do with the future of American society. It has to do with our children and with our grandchildren. And what do the Democrats have to say? Whatever the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association tell them to say. We have not had a president in decades who has had the guts to stand up to the teachers' unions and propose another alternative or a different vision. That's shameful. We have a raging health crisis in this society. The truth is, America doesn't have a healthcare system. What we have is a healthcare industry. We have a way of warehousing older people that is guaranteed to eat up most of the savings of a lifetime. But neither party has really cast a compelling vision for healthcare. Now, until or unless Democrats can get their head in the right place and talk about the issues people care about, let's stop talking about affordability. Let's talk about the price of a gallon of gas. Let's talk about what it costs to go to a grocery store. I don't know what an affordability crisis is, but I do know what happens when people can't pay their bills. Can we not just speak English to people? Can we not just speak in clear and compelling terms? The American people care about the kitchen table issues. They care about their kids. They care about health care. And so I think it's fair to say that the Democrats who show up on television every day damning Donald Trump to the heavens at times make very legitimate points. They raise legitimate concerns. But because they don't articulate a viable set of alternatives, instead of rebels with a cause, they are rebels without a clue. And until they change that, they are not going to change the viability of their party. This is Dr. Gary Kellner. Thank you for joining us today.